Hello, YouTube. My name is Aditya Das. I'm here to talk to you about an article I have just written for RaidNewCoin.com. Um, if you found this video directly on YouTube, there is a link to the original article in the description. The purpose of this video is just to give you some background and context for the article and sort of broadly cover its content. So if you find this video interesting and relevant to your research, then go ahead and dive into the article. Also, at Brave New Coin, we want to make a shift towards different types of content because some people just, aren't too interested in reading and prefer consuming information this way. So yeah, pick your poison. We're here to cater to all groups. The article is titled Four Major Trends to Watch Out for in Crypto in 2023. It is an opinion piece, and it is essentially just an overview of what we believe what we think the biggest four trends for crypto will be in the coming year. The first trend is lawmakers versus crypto. The second trend is a crypto staking boom driven by the Shanghai hard fork. The third is a chaotic macro environment that will continue to, bamboozle speculators and traders, and just be topsy-turvy, and this will have an effect on the prices of asset classes like crypto and equity. And the fourth trend is the continued growth of layer 2 solutions, particularly tied to Ethereum. So just to briefly cover each of the four trends. Lawmakers versus crypto, kind of relevant, particularly now after what happened with FTX and, the US government seriously going after the executives of the failed exchange at the end of 2022. Beginning of 2023, we saw the arrest of the proprietor of the Bitlotso exchange in Miami, and that was well publicized and talked about. And it just feels like, because of what happened with FTX and the embarrassment associated with that incident, lawmakers in the US and globally will not want to suffer the same kind of embarrassment again. In 2022, we saw things like the US government going after Tornado Cash and President Biden's executive order. It seems likely that it will be cranked up, not just in the United States, but also in Europe. There is this major bill being discussed, the MiCA bill, which is hundreds of pages long and is likely to be voted on by the EU Parliament in the coming year. That bill is interesting because there's some very specific crypto-centric, if you've been around in this space for a while, will seem very interesting and relevant to you. Things like stablecoin issuers having more intense financial reporting requirements, crypto miners having to report energy consumption. So and beyond the US and EU, we also see Asia, places like Hong Kong and India kind of signaling that they're also going to crank up their crypto regulation. The second trend that we mentioned is a crypto staking boom driven by Shanghai. This is, I think our view is that it will primarily be a rise in assets under management or assets being staked. Currently, it's just about 19% of the ETH in circulation is being staked. This may be because once you stake ETH at the minute, you can't unstake it from the beacon chain. So it's sort of, is it worth it? Is it worth making your ETH illiquid, particularly given how volatile the market is? However, this will change with the Shanghai hard fork, which is set to undergo in March 2023. So in 6 weeks to a couple of months, we're going to be able to unstake our ETH, and this should increase the demand to stake the asset. And ETH is the biggest, most relevant proof of stake blockchain out there. And yeah, it should lead to things like Lido and Rocket Pool and other kind of staking tools growing in popularity, because staking is just a much better offering than it was before. The third trend we mentioned is the uncertain macro environment. You know, it seemed like at the beginning of 2023 or leading into 2023, the big buzzword was recession. The world is going to go through a recession. The US is going to go through a recession. And yeah, it's just going to be tumultuous and a difficult year. You know, first 6 weeks of the year has not looked like that. It looks like, you know, we're getting the best of both worlds just to a certain extent, with rising interest rates slowing down inflation. But, you know, we're also observing very strong job growth and unemployment data from the US, and things are looking rosy, and that's being reflected in the prices of crypto and equities. However, I think, you know, me and most other analysts and, you know, market observers don't think this is going to last. There will be a patch this year where it seems like the global economy is set to fail. And, you know, the markets will read those signals, and we probably have drop-offs driven by, you know, an unstable or concerning macro environment. And, you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't last, and we see, you know, lots of ups and downs, and like a bit of a roller coaster in terms of, you know, how interest rates are affecting inflation, or, you know, whether we're going to have a recession or whether we're not going to have a recession. And yeah, that will reflect in the price, and it probably means we're going to go through, you know, a few bullish, bearish, medium-term cycles in the coming year. The final trend is the continued growth of layer 2s, particularly connected to Ethereum. You know, after I wrote the article, there was a data point which indicated that the Polygon version of OpenSea for the first time had exceeded the Ethereum version of OpenSea in terms of number of transactions. So yeah, I think it's something that's been talked about for a long time, but it's finally sort of coming to fruition, where Ethereum is the settlement layer, and most everyday transactions are conducted on these layer 2s, which are faster and cheaper, and, you know, every so often communicate with Ethereum to secure themselves. So yeah, I think, you know, a trend that we believe will occur this year is that using ETH less and less every day, and more for bigger transactions of settlement. And, you know, our everyday like platforms that we use for NFTs or DeFi will be things like Polygon, Optimism, and Arbitrum. So yeah, those are our 4 big trends. Hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, look forward to producing more content related to stuff that happens on the website. Thanks.